Good evening. Tonight marks the fourth year that I have presented to you on the state of Westchester County. Just this past October, I stood here before you and we were all at the mercy of COVID-19. We were bending and twisting and trying to conform our lives to this deadly and destructive illness. But today, 7 months later, look at us. Through sacrifice and discipline, vaccinated and fighting back. I want to publicly thank the incredible 4,000 plus county employees for their dedication to each other and to the people of this county. Those men and women have worked tirelessly, first during a lockdown, and then as we began to open up, they volunteered at our vaccine clinics to help our people become vaccinated. President Harry Truman once said, "America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand." Friends and colleagues, I'm here to tell you tonight, I am here to do the job at hand. You are here to do the job at hand, and together, united, we will do the job at hand because we are the state of our county, and we are united to move forward.
We have a way out of this, and it's through the vaccination process. It makes perfectly good sense to vaccinate yourself as well as to get everybody vaccinated.
Today, we're going to be discussing how to obtain and perform testing for COVID-19.
This facility here in Yonkers, we're very excited to know that now anybody 60 and older can walk up and get a shot very easily.
I was excited when I was able to make an appointment. Hi, I'm Ella Rath. I go to Horace Greeley High School, and I'm 18 years old.
Our workforce is flexible.
For the planning department, it actually has worked well for staff to be able to function from home and from a remote place.
Both specifically because of the pandemic and more generally, mental health issues are health issues.
We stress the importance of physical health. Mental health is just as important.
I'm George Latimer, he, him, his, Westchester County Executive. And everyone deserves the right to have their identity and their personhood respected in the workplace. A $2.091 billion budget, meaning $2.091 billion. That is a decrease in spending of $16 million over last year's budget. The single largest tax impact negatively to people who pay taxes came from the loss of the SALT deduction, period, exclamation point. We're announcing $1.27 million in CARES Act funding, which is awarded to remote learning centers throughout Westchester County.
We have to decide, we understand that there's common humanity for all of us, or if we're going to continue to see each other as the other and not part of a universal we.
Not anybody can do this kind of job. Not everybody can do the training necessary to do this job, even if they want to. We salute these folks today.
The veterans' needs differ. It depends on how recently you were a veteran, what war you were in, might pivot what kinds of benefits you have. So that's some of what I want to cover tonight.
You loved and were loved, and your life meant something. We're here today to try to understand, not about a government, but about humanity. And why we do these things? Because we want to save another life, and that we remember the lives that we have lost.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Thank you too.
Take care. Everybody's healthy? Everybody vaccinated?
Yes.
You can always use one, stick it in your purse.
That's right.
Bomb, 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 dang, 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 ding, dong, ding, hit it. You got it. We're ready to go full time. Our administration gave you a bit of a sneak peek of this speech last week, just a little taste of what the 2022 budget will be like. The Department of Budget forecasts a $16 million increase in the county's general fund balance for the 2021 fiscal year. This increase will bring the unrestricted fund balance to over $200 million by the end of 2021, the largest fund balance in the county's history. Now, this is all still a projection, and there are variables ahead, but clearly a very good projection, and one that drastically changes our economic forecast. We have all together had to make hard financial decisions, and we faced difficult financial times, but we made smart choices with the federal dollars that not only saved the county money, but also provided essential services for the public when they needed it the most. We supported efforts to combat food insecurity, supported small businesses, and remote learning centers for children. I want to be clear. This is how government is supposed to work. This is good government. We have worked every day for you, and I mean that. During this pandemic, many of our Westchester neighbors struggled mightily to survive. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to have mom and dad at the kitchen table worried about their bills. I know it because I've lived it. That is why it was so important to me in the middle of a crippling pandemic to keep the promise I made to you 2 years ago. We cut county property taxes for the second year in a row this year, but we didn't stop there. Signed the 2021 budget not only cutting taxes, but also maintaining county services and cutting overall spending by $15.7 million. And we maintained our commitment to our workers and their families: no furloughs, no layoffs. We worked together jointly to extend our deadline dates for property taxpayers last year, to give them some breathing room. So let me be clear. Anyone who says county taxes are up and people are fleeing Westchester is peddling fiction. They're running a rumor mill, and they're trying to sell you what they call common sense, when in fact it's pure nonsense. We cut county property taxes for the second year in a row this year, and you know who we did it for. We did it for that mom and dad sitting at the kitchen table.
How old are you?
One.
1 year
Yes.
old.
Yes.
I got a grandson who's going to be 4 years old next month, and a granddaughter 6.
Both of us, went to school, full-time employed. We work here in the county. We work with children and families. For a family of 6, every dollar that we make, we've got to make the most of. So we're always kind of trying to figure out how we can improve on our property and how we can keep affording to live here.
Right. And from a county standpoint, we have certain services that we have to provide. If you need transportation, the Beeline bus system, if you have recreational opportunities to go to Saxon Woods Pool.
It's a great place to live. So we consider ourselves really lucky.
So I can remember when I was a little boy growing up in Mount Vernon, my mother and father would sit at the kitchen table, and they would talk about a lot of things. They talk about their finances sometimes, which is usually my cue for me and my sister to say goodbye and let them talk.
Certain populations or certain people being priced out of communities, or affordability and accessibility issues, are something that I think really kind of plays out on a day-to-day, like where you can purchase a house or if you can afford to stay there because of the taxes.
And everything, I guess, is more expensive. You're paying higher utility bills, everything is higher, phone bills, and of course the tax bill is significant.
I think I woke up the other day because we got a mortgage statement, and it was about 7 o'clock in the morning before coffee.
This did happen.
Our taxes are $14,000? Yeah.
We're always trying to provide them with extras, like everybody does.
Good school district that your 2 older kids are going to public schools?
Yeah, they're going to school in Greenberg. The fact that the county has cut taxes for 2 years in a row, it just really feels like our family is being seen. We're a young family. Every dollar that we have goes towards our children. And so having that tax cut for the last 2 years has really made a huge difference to our family budget.
It's nice of you to spend some time with us, and my job is to try to make your job a little bit easier.
Yep.
See if we can find ways to help you individually and then as you raise your family.
I hope that we'll be able to stay here and invest in this property and maybe pass this on to one of our daughters and just continue to watch our family grow.
This early in the year, we can't make firm promises, But if projections hold true, we will be able to we'll be able to continue our tax policy and cut county property taxes again for the third straight year. We hope that that will be something we can enact. I promised you that we would clean up this county, fix what was broken and neglected, and I promised you that I would always do right by you. So I want to thank you for having that faith, because the 2021 budget also included $5 million for economic development programs, $5 million for housing assistance programs, $2 million for food insecurity, $1 million for emergency services response. We also wanted to do more to help those who have served us. I've submitted legislation before your honorable board raising the veterans' real property tax exemption caps up to $75,000 for all veterans, up to $50,000 additionally for veterans who fought in a combat zone of operations, and up to $250,000 for service-disabled veterans. Because providing this tax relief for the brave men and women in our community who fought to protect our nation and all it stands for is a small gesture with real impact. We were focused on our finances and your finances, but we were also focused on your health, very literally. Here in Westchester County, we started vaccinating on January 5th, and that day we started with 10 Department of Health staff members at our clinic just down the block here in White Plains. We were learning and teaching each other how to vaccinate for COVID-19. From that moment to now, it has been nonstop. Today, from all sources, we have vaccinated 552,214 people in Westchester County. We worked regularly with the county school superintendents to help them navigate the reopening process. We also arranged to have their teachers, faculty, and staff vaccinated because we recognize that the schools need to be open and the children of this county need to be in the classroom, and the best way to do that was to vaccinate the people in the schools. We worked regularly with the leaders of our towns, our villages, and our cities to cooperatively deal with this pandemic. And in that dialogue, our county legislators, our state legislators will always welcome partners, regardless of political party or philosophy. To get the word out, we launched an aggressive marketing program, first to get people tested, then to focus on their mental health, and then now to get vaccinated. We did this utilizing existing communication channels and tapping leaders in local communities to record PSAs in English and in Spanish. Our campaign is vigorous, and we continue to do it to this day.
It is so nice to be at Kensico Dam in Westchester County, just to get a moment to be outside with each other. My name is Danelle Morgan. I'm a Radio City Rockette.
Hi, I'm Miranda Labar, and I am a Radio City Rockette.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Gaffney, and as a Radio City Rockette, there's nothing more important than our health, and that is why I'm getting the vaccine.
Yo les digo a todos que se vacunen porque no es fácil. A mí me dio el virus. Hay momentos en que uno piensa que no va a sobrevivir, pero gracias a Dios, pues yo estoy aquí. Se vacunen porque es muy importante cuidarnos todos y protegernos para que todo esto esté mucho mejor ahora.
COVID-19 has hit the black community the hardest. This has to stop. And in order for this to stop, it takes all of us to participate. It takes all of us to take the COVID-19 vaccine shot.
My name is Marsha Gordon. I'm president and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I've gotten the COVID-19 vaccine because it's safe. I want to get back to work, and I want to see my friends and my family and resume life as we used to know it.
What's going on, guys? Just got vaccinated. Just got the shot.
You're not only helping yourself, but you're helping all of those people that are around you.
The more people that get vaccinated, the faster we can get back to normal times.
We want to be part of the community. We want to enjoy our families and our loved ones.
Everybody go get vaccinated. Stay safe.
It's the best line of defense against the virus.
Y'all go get this shot. Mayor quickly told you.
As I stand before you here tonight, know that 2,270 of our brothers and sisters are gone, lost to COVID-19. Last May, we unveiled a new memorial at Lenoir Preserve in Yonkers, Ribbons of Remembrance. At the one-year mark of COVID in Westchester, we memorialized the people lost at a ceremony in the lobby of this building. The Ribbons of Remembrance Memorial will open again at Lenoir Preserve this weekend. We want to honor those men and women as much as we can. The moms, the dads, the sisters and brothers. Nicholas Puja from White Plains, Juan Carlos Cintron from Sleepy Hollow, and many others. That is why tonight I directed all the flags on county buildings to be flown at half staff during this speech. No life lost is ever a statistic. They are people. They loved and were loved. They laughed and cried and walked amongst us. We all know the tragedy that struck our nation on September 11, 2001, but that smoldering pile at Ground Zero left many others all these years later suffering from 9/11 related illnesses. One of those men was retired New York City Police Sergeant Peter Woods. Peter served as a co-chair of our Westchester County 9/11 related illnesses Memorial Committee, working tirelessly to get a new memorial built at Kensico Dam Plaza to honor the Westchester residents lost since 9/11 from 9/11 related illnesses. Sadly, we lost Peter this year to one of those illnesses.
Peter and I come from the same job. We both were NYPD. We were both down at Ground Zero.
Standing beside me is Peter Woods. We are both 9/11 first responders, residents of Westchester County.
When we became the co-chairs, it was a duty for us to make sure that the families were recognized, whether it's NYPD or FDNY or the construction workers, EMS, anybody who lives in the county that was there as a responder.
Peter was a person, he was devoted to his family, loved his family, loved life.
He would comment to me, "We have to get this right." And the reason we have to get it right is because it could be our names up there, and it could be our families that are coming here.
Thank you, and God bless all of our first responders.
And Peter's view on that it was about him and his name being up there. It was about his family having a place to go, to be able to etch their father's name, or eventually their grandfather's name.
It's for the whole county, and it's for anyone who lost a family member, a friend, or just cares about showing the respect and the honor and the remembrance.
He just died in January, so it's still rough.
I still have the text message from Peter. We joked around on New Year's Eve about not having to be in Times Square. And that's the last back and forth we had. And both of us being police officers.
He was a survivor. His death took us really by surprise. He's been sick for 15 years and he has survived every time that we thought it was critical. Somehow he came through. So, our luck ran out, I guess.
It is just very heartwarming for County Executive Latimer to bring it full circle for us, to recognize it right here in our home where we'll have a place, a beautiful place, not just a place, a beautiful location at the dam, to have a memorial where we could go and visit and spend time there. So it means the world to us.
We've been graced with Westchester County giving the property for it when it comes to the location at the Rising. However, we are fully volunteer.
It's so touching because this is where we raised our daughter.
For me, it's his legacy.
We will never forget Peter, and we will continue his mission to memorialize those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. We look forward to unveiling the new memorial this September 11th on the 20th anniversary. For the past 3.5 years, our goal has been growing the economy, making sound financial decisions, and attracting new businesses to Westchester. But we have also been creating a community that works for everyone, because that is what good government is supposed to do. When I took office in 2018, I made it a priority to strengthen and revitalize the Westchester County Human Rights Commission, a commission that I helped to establish with State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins and former board chair Lois Bronze during our time together serving in the Board of Legislators 20 years ago. Today, I'm proud to announce that the HRC's Fair Housing Assistance Program partnership with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development has been recertified for 5 more years. I want to especially thank HRC Executive Director Tejas Anchala for his work restoring this commission. Also, when young people needed it the most, we helped establish the Ossining Youth Bureau and reestablish the Portchester and the Yonkers Youth Bureaus. Prior to the economic devastation brought on by COVID-19, discussions surrounding the need for social, emotional, physical, educational, and economic supports were ongoing, but the pandemic made this all more pronounced. Thank you to the people motivated and inspired to make change. The Asian American Advisory Board, the Arab American Advisory Board, and the Advisory Council on People with Disabilities. These are all boards recently appointed and activated, and thank you for all you do. When I took office in 2018, I also pledged to find solutions to some of the most pressing challenges at the Westchester County Airport. When it came to the airport policy, we halted all efforts to privatize the airport, the single most important policy decision, so that all other policy decisions would be made by us as public officials rather than by private entities. We immediately restarted well testing, which identified sources of pollution. And as I give this speech, we are all addressing the chemical pollution from groundwater seepage that threatens our drinking water, PFAS and other chemicals. This work being done by John Nona and others is exemplary. We've continued the program to ensure all de-icing fluids be diverted into tanks rather than flowing into the Blind Brook and the Long Island Sound. And we've upgraded the system for stormwater runoff collected in retention basins. In the COVID world we now live in, we're choosing to focus on growing the economy, and workers, startups, and small businesses are going to play a big role because the spirit of innovation is there. It always was there, and now it's our job to help them grow and succeed. The Westchester County Industrial Development Agency provided financial incentives and tax-exempt bond financing to a variety of developments representing $370 million in private investment in the county. In what is the largest county IDA transaction in recent years, the IDA board voted in November to approve financial incentives for Morgan Stanley's multi-year renovation of its 750,000 square foot corporate office complex at 2000 Westchester Avenue in the town of Harrison. So, if you think you have fresh ideas and skills that would further enhance services at the county in any of these departments, we encourage you to visit the county's human resource webpage at humanresources.westchestergov.com. We want diversity, and we want you. That desire to modernize was on full display this past weekend when we held the County Police Civil Service exam for the first time in 5 years. A special outreach effort was made to encourage more people of color to take the test and to pursue a career in law enforcement. The county's own Police Reform and Reimagining Task Force issued an extensive report after 7 months of intensive collaboration, and that report was approved unanimously by your Honorable Board of Legislators. The task force was made up and continues to function with law enforcement, attorneys, key community stakeholders, all of whom seek to implement positive reform. What we saw this past year, similar to what I lived through as a young man in the 1960s, was a breaking point in our society. It became clearer than ever, following the tragic deaths of George Floyd almost a year ago to the day, Breonna Taylor, and so many others, that real reform must occur. It also must occur with all stakeholders at the table. I believe this task force has done admirable work toward that goal, and I thank them for their service. The County Department of Public Safety has already instituted multiple policies to implement some of those recommendations, and we will work to do more. Good enough is never really good enough. That is why I signed a bill aimed at strengthening the ethics laws, which your honorable board discussed and modified and passed, which govern those of us who serve the people of Westchester County. This newly passed law will result in stronger ethics training, enhanced whistleblower protections for county employees, and would expand the county's Board of Ethics from 5 to 7 members. This move continues my administration's commitment to transparency and good government, and that follows the recent passage of stricter term limits on my own office, proposed by me, the strictest limit of any county executive in New York State, 2 4-year terms and not a day more. In a year and a half, when it feels that so much has been torn down, I want you to know we're moving forward. We are making progress. We submitted a capital budget that contained over $231 million in new appropriations for capital projects. When it comes to infrastructure in Westchester, we are building in a way that has never been seen in recent memory. And here is just a sample of what we have in the works, but it doesn't end there. The North County Trailway reconstruction is complete. Wilson Woods Playground, where I once went as a child, is complete. The Glen Island Seawall rehabilitation is complete. The Blue Mountain Dam reconstruction is complete. The Ward Pound Ridge Reservation Bridge replacement has been complete. Wait until you see it. The New Rochelle Family Court is complete. Lasden Main House rehab is underway. Bronx River Pathway is nearly completed. The Mearstead Main House enveloping to protect it, complete this summer. Fulton Brook Rehabilitation Project near completion. Playland Parkway, Catherine and I see it every day, near completion. Tibbetts Site Work Project, scheduled to begin in the fall. Mountain Lakes Dam reconstruction, scheduled to begin in the fall. Blue Mountain Site Work, scheduled to begin in the fall. Now we have things that we have to work on going forward, and we will work on these things together for the balance of this year and for whatever period of time that the people determine that those of us should be part of that decision process. The airport master plan, put on hold because of COVID, taken off of the back shelf, activated for us to move forward on it. An economic development plan in the works that Bridget Gibbons and her team are working on, soon to come to final completion for discussion, debate, and adoption through this legislature. A sewer consolidation project for which I asked former chairman of the board, Michael Kaplowitz, to step over to the executive branch and help us using his skill set to work through this most thorny but most important and valuable issue. We look for environmental justice, finally, at the Yonkers Joint Wastewater Treatment Plant. And we may not own the Lake Isle Dam, but we're sure as heck not going to stand by and let nobody figure out what they're going to do. We step forward, we take a role of leadership, and we will, with a consortium of people, fix that dam. And again, near and dear to my heart, Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. That field, when it opens, and it will open, will be a statement of a place where you can play sports. It'll also be a statement to the people of my old home city, city of my birth, that government can work and it can accomplish things. And we will do that, and we will see that place open, completed, Memorial Field. In a post-war world, President Truman also said, quote, "At no time in our history has unity among our people been so vital as it is at the present time. Unity of purpose, unity of effort, and unity of spirit are essential to accomplish the tasks before us," end quote. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you tonight that the state of Westchester County, the state of our county, is strong and getting stronger. Yes, we have more work to do, but I am here to do the job at hand, and you are here to do the job at hand, and together, united, we will do the job at hand. We We are the state of our county. We are the state of our county. The things that we believe in, the sacrifice and discipline that we can show, the energy and the drive, how we work through our differences, and we get to an end result. I'm asking you to continue with me on this journey. Help us together to continue to rebuild our county. The court system determined that family courts, because of the nature of what they deal with, would be a better court to regionalize. For 6.5 years before I came on board as county executive, there was a debate and a discussion, but there was no movement toward identifying and completing this plan. Early in my term, we had a discussion about that. The location became ideal. This court is not a one-person decision. I take my share of credit, but some of the share of credit goes to the men who are going to rappel down from the top of that building and wash the windows. This is an example you can see, touch, and feel what it is we've accomplished over the course of these years. This is an educational facility where we expect other communities to come and learn how they can create a similar type program. This is how government should respond to a crisis. The upgrading of all of the permanent airport noise monitors that have been integrated into the complaint handling system. The last 2 budget years we put in capital, $10 million for new land acquisition so we can buy the piece of land upon which, or help buy the piece of land upon which housing is going to be built. An additional $10 million in each budget, capital expenditure, for infrastructure improvements. I live 2 communities away in the city of Mount Vernon on the south side. My mom and dad had myself and my younger sister in a small apartment. My father had found probably the smallest house in the city of Mount Vernon. My mother walked me to see, and my sister to see, what this house was like that my father was prepared to buy. I didn't look at it knowing financing details. I didn't look at it knowing that there was some zoning issues that had to be addressed. I look at it the way a 5-year-old kid would look at a new place to live, with a backyard, with new friends to make, and the ability to play and grow. In Westchester and everywhere else in the nation, we have let our infrastructure lapse. Decisions and sacrifices made by people before us who did those things that we benefit from that they're not alive to benefit from. So we do the same thing. It's what we do day after day, to do it professionally, to do it well, to try to make sure that this county functions the way it needs to function. We fix things, we make things right, not because we're going to get the benefit out of it, but because we're leaving this to our children and our children's children, and that's just simply the right thing to do. My friends, Westchester has been through big changes before. Wars, depression, hurricanes, floods, terrorism, and now a pandemic. During every difficult part in our history, there have been those who have told us we should fear these crises, we should do less, we should avoid change. But I'm here to tell you something that you already know. Change is constant, and change is inevitable. Rather than fighting change, we have to embrace it and shape it and own it, because that is what Westchester residents do. That is what New Yorkers do, and that is what Americans do, and that is how we overcome the crisis of the moment. We make change work for us, we always move forward, and in the end, we always emerge stronger, wiser, and better than before. As I have said in my 3 prior speeches, so I say again tonight. We are not tired, and we are not done. We are reaching and striving always to do the job at hand. May God bless each and every one of you. Bless all of our people, our county, our state, and our nation. Thank you, and good night.